So we got 3 seconds left. Timeout's called. Hustle to the bench. What happened? Down one.
Down one.
Down one. It's, I believe it's, 36-35 at this point. What happens in the huddle?
Probably stuff we don't even remember, but a range of emotion. Of course, nobody's excited we're down. And yet, I can say that there was, I would say among the 5, and there was a calm, like, all right, there's something we can do here. We couldn't articulate it. Nobody could tell us, oh, we're going to do this, this, and this, and we're going to score. No, but it wasn't, there was not anxiety overcoming our hearts or minds. It was, all right, what do we got to do? And Coach had a plan. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the plan I thought we were going to run was throw the ball to half court, immediate timeout, right? I thought that was, I assumed we had another timeout. I can't remember now that I think about it, but
Yeah.
you know, then let's try to do something from there.
Yeah.
But there was calm. You know, we, you know, just through all the sports we've been playing, we have been through some battles. So we've been down to last pitches and last outs and, you know, final drives and that sort of thing.
Well, I looked at the play, and I thought it was designed very simplistic, and it was designed very well. Because you came from the left side of the floor, you're right-handed, and you curled across. Pat Donahue was left-handed. He came from the right side of the floor. I believe Rich Cohan was down at the basket, and I don't recall where the fifth person was. But, Rick, you were inbounding. And you made just a slight hesitation. Chris West was all over you. A slight hesitation just to get him to shift and then take it from there.
Yeah, so the first thing I do, I just look at the ref and go, I can run this, right?
Yeah,
I want to make sure he's not going to call me on something. He goes, yep, you can run.
Yeah.
And I think I was fake left, and just to get him moving one direction. And then, you know, I know I'm going to throw it on the run. It's not going to be, I'm going to have time to set my feet and throw it. So throw it on the run, get it to half court, use Wass's size, and get it in a spot where he can catch it away from other people too.
Yeah.
Why don't you take it from the catch then?
Well, it's interesting with Rick saying the same thing. I knew he had to get around Chris. He had some wings, so he had to create some space. And when I saw him and his ability to move, it was like, wow, that's exactly what we needed. I started, even before the play began, the referee still had the ball. I knew I had to get in front of Ray. Ray was guarding me. And so if we're looking at the court right now with the crowd on this side, the benches on this side, and the court where we have to score down here, I'm up there and I'm walking around. I'm not necessarily talking to Ray, but I'm just kind of, hey, dude, what's going on? Because I knew I had to get in front of him. He was fronting me between the ball and me, and I had to get around him. Otherwise, I wasn't going to have a lane to get the pass. So before the referee actually gave Rick the ball, I was able to maneuver around Ray, and thankful that he let me do that. Otherwise, I would have kept pushing him. Then he'd had to throw it over. But I got in front of him, and because I was bigger than Ray, I could use my body. And Ray didn't want to foul me because we were all in the bonus. Yeah. Nobody wanted to foul anybody, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew that. And Rick hits me in stride. I'm going to my left toward the crowd, toward the sideline, and I didn't pinch myself. And then I knew I had to take a dribble or two to give myself some space. And Ray tried to take the foul, tried to take a charge. And then that freed me up for one free dribble. Actually, I had two, but one free without a defender on me. Ray tried to take a charge. It wasn't a charge. Thankfully, there wasn't a charge. And I had one dribble to reorient my hips, my shoulders, and you got to just throw it up there. And as the ball left my hand, in my mind I was thinking, I got a shot. Because when you shoot, and you know if it's offline. And then it's like, oh, okay, game over. But I could tell immediately that the ball was in line with the hoop, and then the rest is history. Go ahead.
So, absolutely. So you have, I remember right before a timeout, I'm just seeing the sea of blue, just, having the greatest party you could ever have.
The change of
emotions. One of those deals, right?
Oh,
and you look over on green, and it's just complete depression, And 3 seconds later, it's completely reversed.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
That's what you get when the crowds are so close and they're a part of the game. You know, they're there.
Yeah. So at 14 seconds, green and white was excited, and blue was disappointed. At 3 seconds, it seemed like there were more Jefferson folks. I don't know why. It just seemed like they were louder. They were good at it. And we're on that sideline. And then even as I'm getting the ball, in that half court and taking I'm maybe 3 feet from the sideline. I'm well inside the playing court. Their crowd is getting as close to me as possible, screaming and loud. And it just felt like they were right in my ear. And yet at the same time, I didn't hear them.
You're just tuned in.
There was nothing else I could do. And then as the ball's going, they're still going, and the noise is still crazy because I think everybody in the place is assuming it's going to miss. And then when the ball goes through the hoop, there's this thunderous change of emotion and noise that came from my left ear now, and my right ear was silent.
So, of course, there's a secret that we know about that shot that not a lot of people do know, is that Rob would hold pre-practice and post-practice half-court shooting contests. And it went on pretty much all year, right?
You got to have some fun.
Yeah. As I'm still working on my free throws because they were so bad, these guys are having fun doing half-court shooting contests. And you guys made a lot of them. If it was something you had never shot before, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
But he had done this many times.
I never envisioned it for that scenario.
So we all know, how we all reacted. Place was nuts, I wanted to get, you make a shot like that. You were obviously emotionally overjoyed, but what was going inside your mind? Was this like, how'd that happen?
It is a blur. Honestly, I don't know if I can describe my emotions from after the ball is released in my mind. I'm thinking, okay, it's got a shot, and that's kind of the last thing I remember until it goes in, and just, hey, we're going to the state tournament, and so I was looking for my nearest teammate to go celebrate.
And then we talk about the just the class between both schools and the teams. I vividly remember Tim Lynch on the baseline, and I think Steve Hill was down there. And Coach Fanunger went over there to see him.
Yeah.
And then I think a few of us did too. And it was like we were overjoyed, but you could feel their pain.
Yeah.
It was just an amazing, just the class between both teams. I just thought was just fantastic.
That's my brother, 25, and that's Steve Hill, who's coming here soon. Hopefully he'll be here so you guys get to see him. But
Yeah.
and you're talking about the defending state champs who want to go
Right.
back and taste that again.
Right.
And they lose in the regional final against a team. Those guys used to talk about how they never beat you guys growing up. I think I read where Steve had said in the paper around these games in '83 that he didn't beat an Edina team in basketball until he was a sophomore at Jefferson playing on the JV team. It was the first time he beat an Edina team in basketball. And so anyways, you mix all this stuff together, defending state champs, and then you guys, they go up by one against you guys, got the game won, you guys make the 50-foot shot, and this is the reaction.
Yeah.
But that is classy, like you said, your assistant coach going over there. And
I think a number of the guys did too. I really,
and I've been on the losing end. I've felt that before. It's no fun having another opposing player come up and say great game, but you appreciate it because you're still working through the emotion of what just happened.
Right.
But you do appreciate it, because it's coming from hopefully from a good place. Yeah.
Phil's a great man,
Yeah.
and he just showed his character.
one more thing I want to add to that final shot is I was in the crowd. I was an 8th grader, living and dying, like I said, with my brother's teams at Jefferson, and can't wait to get to that point where I'm playing there. I don't think I've ever, of all the games I've played in, all the games I've been there to witness, I don't think I've ever seen a game where it was like absolute jubilation and just despondent, flip and alternate from
3 times it happened.
from Rob's shot
the tip.
to go up one, Chris West's tip with 3 seconds to go. So it flips from Edina to
Yeah.
Jefferson. And then we're partying, ready to go to the state tournament and
Yeah.
defend the title. And when your shot went in, Rob, there was, I don't know if you guys remember this, maybe you don't because you were playing and you were on the court. There was a pause. I've never seen this before. The shot goes in, there was a second pause or
Silence,
two
like
of everybody had a second or two to process what just happened, and then it was flipped. Edina goes crazy and just, I mean, they can't believe. It's one of those things where it's numb. It's almost like you're in a fog. You're trying to figure out what just happened. And I really see that type of thing. That happened in that gym that night.
Yeah, it did. Truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. And I don't even think anybody in that whole place could have expected that.
Yeah.
It is funny, though, in the last 35 plus years or whatever, Augsburg maybe holds 3,000, 4,000 people. I think about 6,000 people have said that they were there. I saw it live. I was there. I trust you were there, though.
Yeah, I was there. I was the one crying in the parking lot after.
That's so funny.
How often have you guys thought about that shot, that play, that game? You guys went on and played
Every day.
baseball
No.
and stuff.
No. Every day, right?
That would be, don't say
No,
that.
I would do that. No, that's not
through
true.
the years, obviously, that's a moment that you guys can look back on, and it's pretty special, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think when we see each other, we think about it.
Yeah,
When
we
see, other basketball or players that have played, but you think about it, absolutely. Yeah, and you better.
Yeah.
It's a life moment, right?
It's a fun memory.
Yeah.
It's hugely fun. I've had an interesting set of circumstances where in college I bumped into a kid who went to Jefferson and he wasn't happy with me and I now 30 years later I work in a totally different venue and one of Tim's teammates, Dave Jensen, is a really good friend of mine now. And so over the last 30 years, I keep bumping into people that have some connection to either Jefferson or Edina basketball for that event.
right.
Well, to wrap it up, I just want to mention to you, Jefferson basketball camp, the last thing we do on the last day, I call it the WASP drill.
Yeah.
And Jeff Evans comes up and goes, "Do the kids know what that means?" And I'm like, "No."
No.
So we shoot half court.
Nice.
I had a third grader do a left hand underhand hook and nail it. This
Nice.
time. Yes, a third grader.
I tip my hat to the young man.
Yes. So, but like you said, it's all in fun. And I want to thank you guys for coming out today and sharing that moment with us, and just also the relationships that we've built as teammates and opponents and that type of stuff too. So thank you, Rick and Rob.
Yeah.
Thank you for
My
having
pleasure.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.